Matt here with Don't Take My Word For It. Today I'm going to show you all of the gear that I bring with me on overnight backpacking trips that won't break the bank. The gear that somebody brings with them on an overnight backpacking trip can usually be broken down into 6 categories. Your pack, your tent, your sleep system, your clothes, your extra miscellaneous items, and most importantly, your food. Let's start with the pack. Here I have a very, very lightweight and very, very cheap small volume day pack that I bring with me when I'm not doing overnight trips because I just really can't carry enough stuff to keep myself comfortable or to hold any food that I need for an overnight trip. This one I bought from Walmart. It says outdoor products. Honestly, I think that's a Walmart brand. I don't know if they sell it anywhere else, but it comes with a water bladder in it, which I broke a long time ago. But it's okay because I actually found that carrying a water bladder is too heavy and too cumbersome, so I stopped carrying one anyways. What I like about this one is that it has the hip belt straps that buckle around you, and it also has the ones that go buckle around your chest like this, and that really helps you support more of the weight on the front of your body rather than on the tops of your shoulders while you're going long distances or carrying heavy weight. The bright side is this one you're not really going to be using for heavy weight because it's so small. It doesn't fit that many things. It does have a lot of buckles and a lot of places to tie off on, and it comes with this rain fly, which is pretty common for a lot of packs, but it's a waterproof fly with an elastic band on it that you would put over your backpack if it starts raining. The downside of a pack like this is that yes, you can keep the front and the top of the pack dry when it's raining with the rain fly. You really want a pack that's waterproof, because something that I've learned is while hiking in the rain is fun, the second you decide to set your backpack down on something, everything inside is getting wet because the bottom is not waterproof. And I'll be honest, I don't have a waterproof backpack yet, but it's one of the next things I plan on buying. The pack that I currently use for overnight backpacking is not even one designed for hiking. It's actually one that I got whenever I was in boot camp, whenever I was still in the Navy. It's this giant monstrosity. The only reason I use this one is because it's the only pack I have that's big enough to fit everything I need. It has a lot of pockets. It doesn't really have any straps or exterior mesh pockets that are designed for backpacking, but it does have these really thick, wide straps on it that help distribute the weight on your shoulders, and it does still have this hip belt that goes around your hip right here, which does help distribute some of the weight off of your shoulders. This pack is also very durable. I've had it for many years. It doesn't even have any nicks, any rips, any tears in it at all, and I've never felt like it was going to break or anything like that. The zippers are very strong, and this pack is probably going to last me a long time, but it's too heavy and it's not designed for backpacking the way that I really want it to. What I really want to do is get a 50 or 65 liter backpack. I've been looking into ones like the North Face Phantom 50L, I think is what it's called, and then there's also quite a few Osprey bags that I'm really interested in because they have those mesh backs that keep your back off of the pack, and they seem to support the weight really well, but they're very expensive, so it's not on my budget right now, so I'll stick with this until I can afford it. Next thing on our list is a tent. So the tent that I used to use was a giant monstrosity of a tent because it's the only thing I had. This is the tent, not including the tent poles, and I used to carry this into the woods so that I could sleep. This thing is huge, it's heavy. I think it's like a 4 or 6 person dome tent from Walmart. I got rid of it and got this instead. This is a 1-person lightweight backpacking tent from Ozark Trail. It's very cheap. I got it for $29.99 at Walmart. It's kind of long, but it's much lighter weight than the tent that I was using, and it fits in my pack. This has the stakes, this has the tent poles in it, and it's got plenty of headroom so you can sit up inside of it whenever you're camping, and it does a really good job of keeping the wind off you, keeping the rain off of you, and staying sturdy. I like that it's a freestanding tent because those trekking pole tents, if you don't set them up right, are pretty flimsy. This one is very easy to set up, very quick to set up, and it's a great first backpacking tent to take with you on any of your weekend trips. Next on our list is your sleep system. So that means anything you're going to be sleeping in or on to keep you warm, not really including your tent. I have 2 sleeping bags. one that I don't use anymore and one that I love now. One that I used to use was really big and bulky, but it was cheap, and it's one that I had already, so that's why I started using it for backpacking. It's this giant monstrosity. It says 40 to 60 degree Coleman Sunridge sleeping bag, and this is it packed all the way up. It's one of those just rectangular ones, so it does have a lot of room inside of it, but it's not that warm. I found that once temperatures started dropping, because it's the middle towards the end of December now, once temperatures started dropping, the whole top half of my body would be freezing cold at night because it's just open at the top. So that's why I opted for a new sleeping bag, this one. This is a Ozark Trail cold weather mummy sleeping bag. It's a 30 degree bag, but honestly I run hot a lot, so this one is more than warm enough for me. And as you can see, it packs down so much smaller than the other one. I'll show you them side by side for comparison. Here they are right next to each other. This one is so much smaller and it's so much warmer. The mummy bag kind of wraps around your head. The only problem that I have with the mummy sleeping bag is that by design they are more constricting than those those open rectangular style sleeping bags, because that's what keeps the heat in. So they hold you like this. You kind of are forced to sleep with your hands like this or down at your side. There's no room to move around or stretch out, which is something that I do. I roll around and toss and turn all night long, so that's something I'm gonna have to get used to, is sleeping in a mummy bag without moving that much. This sleeping bag was only $30 also, so it's very affordable. So far I've used it and it got down to 20 degrees and it did just fine. I was very warm all night long. You can cinch the bag down around your face so that it basically only shows your face like this. I don't usually bring a pillow either, so this bag doubles as a pillow. I'll just stuff clothes inside of it and put it under my head, usually inside of the hood or underneath the hood, depending on how I'm feeling that night. I plan to upgrade whenever I can afford it to the North Face One bag, which is about $245, I think, and it is a amazing looking bag and I cannot wait to try it. It's just kind of out of my price range right now. Probably the most important part of staying warm while camping is the surface that you sleep on, because regardless of how warm your sleeping bag is, the ground underneath you will sap way too much heat from you. So it doesn't matter if you have a 0 degree, a -5 degree sleeping bag, laying inside of it flattens all the insulation out, which reduces the ability for that part of the insulation to keep you warm to 0. So you have to sleep on something that keeps you off of the ground that does the insulation rather than your sleeping bag. So what I use for that is this, the Climate Static V sleeping pad. It's an inflatable sleeping pad that, I'm 6 feet tall. It probably has 3 inches above my head, 3 inches below my feet. It works perfectly fine, and it's very small. It inflates to probably this thick, just as comfortable as a gigantic sleeping mattress. I love this thing. It does so much to keep me warm. It's very comfortable. You can roll around on it. I don't feel like I'm touching the ground. I haven't sprung any leaks in it yet. And it's very small. It fits in your pack like this. It's very lightweight. The only problem I have with it is that the valve on it that you use to blow it up is kind of terrible. Some people have told me it's supposed to be self-inflating, which I don't understand what they mean, because it doesn't say that on here anywhere. It actually just says easy to inflate sleeping pad that packs down small. The valve is just a screw that you blow into, and the second you stop blowing on it, it lets all of the air out. And it's also not like a shape that your mouth fits around very easily. So it's kind of hard to get really, really, really full and then tighten down because it just has regular threads on it. I'll tell you though, it definitely beats what I was using before this because I refused to just sleep on the ground. So before I was sleeping with this, I was using a full-size air mattress that was huge and heavy and was hard to inflate. It required a actual hand pump to blow up. So this is a clear winner in that arena. As an added little extra, you can get what they call a sleeping bag liner like this. It's basically for lack of a better word, it's like a sheet that fits inside of your sleeping bag, has a drawstring. It's like shaped like a mummy bag. I've only used this once and I am not sure if it really did anything. It was cold that night and I was comfortable, but the sleeping bag does a lot to keep you comfortable. So I don't really know how well it worked. This was super cheap too. I think this was like $15. It's a Magellan brand, so I think that's Academy. I think that's their brand. I don't know if they sell outside of Academy, but I have a lot of Magellan stuff, as you'll see as we go through this video. If your sleeping bag is not as warm as you would like, these things claim to increase the temperature rating of them. So this says it adds a 5-degree rating to your sleeping bag. Who knows? But it's very, very thin. Kind of just feels like a sheet, not even that nice of a sheet. The next thing on our list is clothing. We'll start with pants. These are the pants that I use every single time that I go camping and hiking and backpacking. It doesn't matter. Same pair. You can probably see that in the videos that I'm always wearing the same pants. These are, honestly, I don't know the model of them. They're Magellan pants. They're like this quick dry material. So far I haven't gotten any rips in the actual pants. I wish they were waterproof, but it seems like actual waterproof pants are hard to come by. So quick dry is a really good alternative because they get wet, but they dry off very easily. Right now, the only problems I'm having with it is that, as you can see right here, the bottom of this pocket is kind of starting to come off. But I've had them for a couple of years, and they were very cheap. I think these were 20 or 30 bucks also at Academy. One of the better features of these pants is that they are, I don't remember what they call them, but they have this zipper on each leg that you can unzip, and the bottom of the leg comes off and they become shorts, which in the summertime is amazing because you can just carry one piece of bottoms clothing for if it's cold or if it's warm. Sometimes it's cooler in the morning and warmer in the afternoon, and you want to take the bottoms off and wear them as shorts. Or maybe it's hot out and you're wearing shorts, but then you're going to start hiking somewhere where there's a lot of brush and you want to cover your legs up, and you can put these back on. They're very lightweight, very cheap. I would recommend them, but because I want to upgrade to something maybe a little bit more durable, I'm taking recommendations for hiking pants. On the top, I usually just wear a t-shirt covered by one of these lightweight nylon or polyester, whatever you call it. I really don't know what they call these things. These little pullovers, it's got a zipper on it. I also bought it at Academy. I don't know the name of this brand. BCG. It's BCG brand. This thing is amazing. I love it. I get hot very easily, but sometimes it's too cold to wear just a t-shirt, so you put this on. It's very thin. It will protect you from the sun and does a pretty good job of keeping branches and stuff from scraping you whenever you're in the woods. And it's very lightweight, and it packs down pretty small. You just throw it in your pack, but I'm usually wearing it no matter where I go whenever I'm hiking. One of the biggest items that people talk about when going over gear that they use when hiking is what kind of footwear they use. I use hiking boots. Now I know that there's a big debate between hiking boots or trekking shoes, but I so far love how durable and how warm hiking boots can be. What I use are these Merrell Moab 3s. I think they're called the mid because that's talking about the height of the ankle. I love these things. They are super waterproof. They're super durable. Very thick sole. I find they're not as good of traction on slick surfaces as some boots, but they're very rugged and they're very good on like gravel. I got these for free, luckily, because I used to Uber drive, and I Uber drove for somebody who was a representative for the Merrell corporate who was coming to talk to Bass Pro, because I live near the Bass Pro headquarters. And just talking to him, he ended up giving me a code to go online and literally get this $185 pair of boots for free. Now that I know how good these are, I'm going to buy more of them whenever these decide to crap out on me. So far, the only thing that's wrong with them is that I get this peeling of the rubber on the front of the toe, but it hasn't affected anything. It's still waterproof. They're still holding up. I've had these for like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And I'm going to keep using them. I don't know if I'm ever going to switch to hiking shoes or trail running shoes, but so far these are getting the job done. The socks that I wear are really just any kind of, these ones are Fruit of the Loom. Don't know if there's any other names besides that. They're just like a really thick, tall sock because they keep the hiking boots from rubbing on your ankles. They keep brush from rubbing on your ankles. and they're pretty warm, they're durable. You just have to make sure that they're not cheap and they're kind of a thicker material because you don't want holes wearing in them when you're on long hikes. When it's a little bit colder, I bring these. These are like a wool thermal sock. I wear these if it's cold out. I usually don't wear them while I'm hiking unless it's well below freezing, but I will wear them when I'm sleeping in my sleeping bag because they're very warm. The problem is that they take up a lot of space in your hiking boot, so it kind of changes how the boot feels on your foot. But they are very warm, and wool is the way to go with these. For underwear, I go with any kind of, you have to stray away from cotton because cotton will hold all of your sweat on you. I would go for any sort of nylon or polyester, kind of stretchy, almost compression short material, because these are what will keep you from chafing whenever you're out in the backcountry or on any long hike. They kind of keep everything separated, keep the skin from rubbing on itself, keep you from chafing, and if you're sweaty like I am, these will be your best friend. Depending on how cold it is outside, I will either bring a beanie like this or this. I don't know what you call these things. It goes over your head and it is insulating on top, and then you can lower the bottom, cover your face up or not. I usually wear this when I'm sleeping if it's going to get down to, into the 20s or lower. This is what I wear when I'm sleeping because it covers everything except for basically your eyes and does a really good job of keeping you warm. Don't remember what they're called. I bought this at Bass Pro. Then also, long johns are going to be your best friend when it's cold out. I usually wear these Magellan long johns that I also bought at Academy. I think they have lighter weight versions of them, but these ones have done me really well. They also do a good job of keeping your legs from getting whacked by branches. They add like an extra layer of cushion underneath your pants. So they do a great job of keeping you warm either while you're sleeping or while you're hiking and it's cold outside. If you decide to go hiking when it's going to be raining, you need waterproof gear. So that's why you have to opt for some lightweight packable rain pants and a rain jacket. These are the ones I use. This is my jacket and these are my pants. I bought both of these at Academy. This is a Columbia rain jacket and these are Magellan rain pants. They're both packable. As you can see, right now they're sealed up inside themselves. They're both basically just folded up inside their own pockets. This is what it looks like when you're wearing both of them. The nice thing is that these pants, they have big enough bottoms on them that you can slip them on over your hiking boots if it starts raining while you're already hiking. The Columbia jacket was on sale for $30 when I bought it, so that's why I got it. It was at Academy. It's the only really name brand thing I have, but it does a really good job of keeping the wind out. The only problem is I've noticed that some of these seams right here on the shoulder have started to leak a little bit. So if it's raining a lot, I'll notice little wet lines on my shirt underneath if I'm wearing this. You can see the hood rolls up inside of the collar right here. The pants have this elastic band on it that help keep them tight around you if you're a little bit smaller, because they're all one size fits all. I think there's a men's size and there's a women's. I was amazed the first time I used these pants because it was pouring down rain and I stayed completely dry on my lower half. I even went in a creek up over how high my boots were, and these things, the bottoms of them, I guess kind of sucked down around the top of my boot and kept my foot completely dry. I don't think that's part of their intended use, but I would highly recommend these. They're from Magellan. They're very cheap. I think they were $20, $25, something like that, and they're very lightweight. And like I said, I usually run a lot hotter than most people I know, so I haven't really needed anything warmer than a hoodie. So this has usually been the warmest outer layer that I'll wear whenever it's very cold outside or when I'm sleeping. Depending on how cold or how hot you run, you might need more or you might need less than this. I've so far been hiking hoodies like this when it's down to 20 degrees maybe, but I love the cold weather so far. Now we're to the extras category with all the kind of random miscellaneous things that you need to stay comfortable and stay safe when you're on a backpacking trip. I wear contacts, and whenever you sleep with contacts in, they usually take a while for them to kind of get unblurry after you've been sleeping. So I'm always afraid of waking up in the middle of the night and not being able to see. That's why I bring my glasses with me, which I don't wear ever, but I bring them with me just in case I have to jump up really fast and need to see something. I also bring a pocket knife that is pretty handy. I wish I had a lighter weight one, but this one's very sturdy, and you know, there's an unlimited amount of things you could use a pocket knife for. I bring some sort of lip balm, chapstick, you know, because I always get very chapped lips on backpacking trips. I don't know if it's because I'm dehydrated or I'm breathing heavy or it's cold out. I don't know, but I usually get pretty chapped lips if I don't bring this. I also bring this power bank to charge up things like my phone, my headlamp, or a ring light, because we like to record videos whenever we're on these trips. So your phone and a light, you need to have those. So I started bringing this really cheap Walmart brand power bank, and it seems to work pretty well. It's kind of heavy though, so I might be looking for a lighter weight solution in the near future. I bring this headlamp with me. It's Ozark Trail brand. I found this one just in a junk drawer. I have no clue how it costs or how much it costs. It's, as you can see, it's held together with tape here, but it's a rechargeable one, so I can just plug it into my power bank if it dies. It's very bright. I love it so far. It doesn't last as long as I would like it to, but it is plenty bright enough for me. It'll usually last for, you know, 1 day/night of heavy use. So I need to upgrade soon if I plan on doing anything more extended than that. I have been bringing this monstrosity, this gigantic flashlight with me, just because I'm afraid of running out of power in my headlamp. It's bulky, it doesn't really fit in my bag. That's why I use this, I don't know what you call it. It's this clip thing right here that goes with this clip, and this hooks around my belt, so it usually just hangs around my hip while I'm hiking. But it's huge and bulky, and I don't use it that much if my headlamp's not dead. It's great for if you're in caves and stuff like that. It's super bright, but it's just kind of bulky. So I'm probably just going to end up getting a little bit nicer of a headlamp in the near future. I also bring with me this sort of emergency blanket. Obviously, I've never had to use it. You can see it's still folded up very nicely. It's just something that I've heard people say is a good thing to bring, and I had one in like an emergency survival kit, so I bring it with me. It's pretty small. Another thing that I bring is a lighter, because it's, you know, the easiest, most convenient way to light a campfire. For water, I used to use the gigantic water bladder that came with my pack, but I recently started using this Sawyer Mini, which is kind of the standard of water filters for backpacking. It's very small. It comes with this squeeze pouch. Basically, you fill this up with water, screw this on, take the cap off, and when you squeeze the bag, clean water comes out the other side. It's super simple. I use this smart water bottle. I just reuse it every time I go. Usually I'll fill this up with, you know, just clean water from home before I leave, and then drink it down, and then use the filter to fill this water back up while I'm out hiking. In order to do that, you have to make sure that wherever you're camping or wherever you're hiking has water sources that will be available. Otherwise, you're going to run out of water, which is not good. The only cooking utensils I bring with me are this cup, this burnt out cup that I use to heat up water, and this spoon, fork, knife thing. I basically just use it to stir coffee or to eat dehydrated meals. I love coffee, but I'm just not that picky with it, so I just bring this Starbucks dark roast instant coffee that all you have to do is heat up water, put it in it, and stir. That's all it is. I know some people are sticklers for it. Listen, I like good coffee. I like French press coffee. I like pour over coffee. I like espresso, but I don't care enough to bring anything special into the backcountry to have to do that. So this is basically the easiest way to have coffee while you're camping. That brings us to food. Right now I don't have any of the food with me, but the foods that I usually bring backpacking are things that you don't have to cook, like beef jerky. I always bring beef jerky. I always bring usually some kind of trail mix or nuts or something like that. Sometimes I'll bring dried fruits, and kind of the star of the show is usually Cliff Bars. I love Cliff Bars, can't get enough of them. There's so many flavors of it. I think so far my favorite flavors are the blueberry almond crisp and the white chocolate macadamia. Both of the, oh, and the peanut butter banana. Those things are amazing. They're like 250 calories a piece, lots of fiber, lots of protein. They're a good all around backpacking food. That combined with beef jerky and dried fruit, water. I mean, it's not the most pleasant. It's not as good as a home cooked meal, but they get the job done calorically. You don't have to cook them. They're lightweight, and I think they taste good. One of the next things that I plan on getting for better backpacking trips is like a Jetboil or some sort of camp stove. I don't have anything like that right now. All I have is basically this. I just heat water over a fire, and I would love to get one of those Jetboil stoves. They're just kind of expensive, but they're amazing, and I've heard really good things about them, and I've seen them used before, and I can't wait until I can get one because they're going to kind of simplify some of the problems that you have with cooking food or heating water while camping. Because right now I have to light a campfire and set this in there in a way that it doesn't fall over, that it's got hot enough coals underneath it, and you try not to, but it's inevitable. You end up with ash in the water every single time. Doesn't matter. So I would like to get a dedicated water heating system like a Jetboil. Toilet paper. This is like a half of a roll of toilet paper squished up in a Ziploc bag. You need this. Nature will call when you're out in nature. But that's everything that I bring with me on backpacking trips. As you can see, it's all very low cost, budget friendly. It's not the highest end gear. It's not the lightest weight gear, but it's what I use right now. It's what I'm going to use this weekend. It's what I used last weekend. And until I decide that I'm ready to buy more things, to upgrade to better items, it's what I use. And if you don't have a lot of money and you want to get out there, this just shows that you don't have to spend that much, and you can have the gear that you need to survive and be comfortable. Subscribe to the channel.